Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful start to your day. I'm gonna try to make this video super quick. It is a very massive book haul, and they are not books that I purchased. They are books that my mother-in-law shipped home with me whenever we came back from our little visit at Thanksgiving. And there's quite a few to go through, so I'm going to, like I said, speed through them as quick as possible. Some of these are older books, a lot are from 2020, and I think maybe a few are new. But there are a couple that are pretty old too, so I'm not going to linger. I'm not going to read the entire dust jacket. I'm not going to read the entire synopsis. I'm just going to give you a little brief what it's about kind of thing, and then we'll move on. So she sent me quite a bit of Nora Roberts, and I've only read a few. It's not my favorite author, but I do have a few books of hers, and I don't have any of these. So I'm gonna zip through these, and you guys will have to let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books. I was going to try to do this in a cute little TikTok book transition thing, and I'm just like, I don't have that in me today. So let's go ahead and start with the first book. And this one is called Year One, Chronicles of the One. And it's book one of the series. And this one has a little puppy chewing damage, but this is what the cover looks like on this one. A stunning novel, an epic of hope and horror, chaos and magic, and a journey that will unite a desperate group of people to fight the battle of their lives. And it takes place on New Year's Eve, and apparently it's kind of spiraled into a pandemic situation. But from what I'm looking at here, it almost looks like it's a generated thing, like where the electrical grid goes out. So that would be very, very interesting, and I thought this was pretty cool, kind of in the center of the book. So I am really intrigued by this one. This is going to be something I read in the new year. I've got a lot ahead of all of these books, so we'll see how far I get into them. And then the next one is giving me all the beautiful summer vibes, and this one is called Hideaway. A family ranch in Big Sur County and a legacy of Hollywood royalty set the stage for this emotional new suspense novel. So basically, the main character came from a long line of Hollywood royalty stretching back to her Irish immigrant great-grandfather, and then I think she ends up on a ranch, and then she's got to figure out whether she wants to go back to the city, if I'm not mistaken. Says what she didn't know yet was that two seeds had been planted that long ago night, one of great love and one of terrible vengeance. So I feel like she's gonna have to make some decisions, but the inside of this book is really gorgeous too. Beautiful scenery there. So interesting, very interesting. The next book is Sanctuary. It's got a lovely cover. Now this one is an old one. I think when I looked at this was like much older. Yeah, 1997. So it was a year after I graduated high school. That is really funny. So this one has been around for quite some time, and I don't know anything about this either. I wasn't reading her at all then, so I didn't even know this existed. But if you have read that, you'll have to let me know your thoughts on it. Nice cover, but you can tell by looking at it that it's definitely got those 90s vibes for the cover. This one is a little bit newer. It's 1996, and it is book one of the Circle trilogy called Morgan's Cross, and it's got deckled edges, so that's really cool to feel that. She gave me a couple of books here that are first in the series, and I'm thinking, I'm glad you didn't give me like third in the series, because that's always hard to get caught up on the characters and everything. It says this one is an extraordinary trilogy, an epic tale that breaks down the boundaries between reality and otherworldly while forging together the passions of the men and women caught in a battle for the fate of humanity. So this one, Damon might actually like reading that one too. I have two more Nora Roberts to share, and this one is Jewels of the Sun, book one of the Gallaghers of Ardmore. Yeah, Gallaghers of Ardmore trilogy. And this has got deckled edges as well. 1999. So Michaela, this book came out the year you were born. How cool is that? It's got this really pretty cover inside. I like that. And that is what the actual cover looks like too. It says, the Gallaghers, Aidan, Sean, and Darcy run the local pub in the pretty seaside village of Ardmore. Not far from the village is a cottage, a place of magic where a lonely American woman comes to explore her roots and her heart. So that's got really small writing in some of this, so that'll be a while before I read this one. Some of these I feel like are going to be more summery spring reads, so that'll be really cool. And that leads me to one that's definitely a summer read called Summer's Cove, again with the deckled edges. I don't know what year this one came out, but this has 2 stories in one, Impulse and The Name of the Game, and both of them are about finding true love. And of course it's a summer setting, so that'll be perfect for the new year. We have 2 here from the same author, and they are both from Dean Koontz. Now, I did own this one. I think this is mine and she's just passing it back to me. But this is Dean Koontz, The Watchers. On his 36th birthday, Travis Cornell hikes into the foothills of the Santa Ana Mountains, and soon his path is blocked by a golden retriever who will let him go no further into the dark woods. That morning, Travis had been desperate to find some happiness in his lonely, seemingly cursed life, and what he finds is a friend, a dog of alarming intelligence, and a threat that comes from the darkest corners of a man's imagination. I never read this, but I don't know if they read it or not. But anyway, they passed it back to me, and I will have to read it this time. I used to read a lot of Dean Koontz, but I'd pass that on because I kind of got out of reading him. But I might end up giving that a go again. And then this one is called The Other Emily, and I feel like this is a new one. This one is one that my father-in-law read, and if I can find a date, this was 2021. And he's currently, well, he's done with chemo right now, but he was reading it during the times he was taking his treatment. So this one is fairly new. I don't know anything about it. A gripping and downright frightening book, genuinely captivating. Koontz remains a masterful storyteller in multiple genres, and this is one of his best. So over a decade ago, Emily vanished after her car broke down on California highway. She was presumed to be killed by a serial killer, and then her husband David has not recovered from losing the love of his life or the guilt of not being there to save her. But then I guess he comes across someone that looks just like her, and is it her or is it a dead ringer? Either way, the ultimate question is the same: what game is she playing? So this looks like it's going to be full of twists and turns, and this is high on my priority list after the first of the year. Now we have a lot of hodgepodge authors, and most of these I've never read from, so we're just gonna fly right on through these. This is from Jane Ann Krentz, a dark legacy novel. It's not something that I read at all. My mother-in-law reads just about everything, and she does read a lot of steamy things, so I'm not going to be reading this one. But it was in the stack here, and then there was two more that I'm not going to be reading. This is just not something that I would like to read, but you know, if you guys have read it, you'll have to let me know how it goes or how it went. And then she also has 2 more here. Diana Palmer, it's called Wyoming Rugged. Nope, not reading that one. And then this one is J.C. Burton, and it's called Hope Ignites. And I know what drew her in to this, and if you knew my mother-in-law, you'd know why. One, the guy, but she has always loved Australian Shepherds, and they have had one, and we actually had an Australian Shepherd, and she's got an Australian Shepherd now too. So she just, how old was Gibbs? 12, 13? Oh yeah, so their Australian Shepherd was 14 years old, and he just passed away not too long ago. So I'm sure that that is what drew her to this book, but I'm not going to read this one either. I'm going to send it right back. The next one is by Danielle Steele. This is the first time in paperback from 2001, and it's called Royal. I love the cover of this one. This would be absolutely stunning if it was in hardcover. I just love the detail of the red coat and the cinched waist there with the black belt. It's really, really beautiful. And then there is a tiara in her hand. And I don't know why, but this gives me like Christmas Prince holiday prince vibes from Hallmark, so I will be reading this one. I don't think it's Christmas at all, but I'm completely interested in it because I love royal things. The next book is from Eileen Gouge, and it's called The Second Silence, and it was written in 2000. Again, it's got that whole 90s vibe cover, and then I did see on the interior there's some like floral designs, and it's really cute. Totally the 80s and 90s vibes here with that. And I don't know anything about this, but it says a mother's worst nightmare brought to life unites a family in the searing, taut new novel. And it's full of suspense, and apparently it deals with divorce and things like that. So we shall see if this makes my TBR in the new year. And if you guys would like to see my TBR monthly or something like that, or just a reading wrap up, let me know in the comments below, because I would love to share with you a little bit more of what I'm reading. And oddly enough, I only set my Goodreads goals to 50 this year, and I think I'm going to pass it just a little bit, but I want to be super ambitious next year and double it. I want to double it and do 104, giving me 2 books a week, and I'm hoping that I can reach that goal plus surpass it. But I am going to be super ambitious with that. One that I will be reading probably at right after Christmas is the next book, and it's by Anne Rice. It says The Wolf Gift Chronicles the Wolves of Midwinter. I love this. Okay, just a minute. I love this beautiful night sky blue cover. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it looks like snow is falling. I don't know when this one came out. Let's take a look real quick. Oh, it says 2013. Huh. Well, it looks newer than that, but it's really in great condition, and it's got deckled edges. I love so many of these books have them. This book promises to be engaging as anything she's written since her early Vampire Chronicles fiction. And it says, a delectable cocktail of old-fashioned lost race adventure, shape-shifting, and suspense. Readers were spellbound as Rice conjured up a daring new world set against the wild and beckoning California coast. Now in her new novel, as lush and romantic in detail and atmosphere as it is sleek and steely in storytelling, Anne Rice takes us once again to the rugged coastline of Northern California, to the grand mansion of Nidic Point, further implores the unearthly education of her transformed man-wolf. The novel opens on a cold gray landscape. It's the beginning of December. Oak fires are burning, and the stately flickering hearths of Nidic Point, it is Yuletide. So it just goes into Christmas, and I don't know. I'm kind of interested in it. I haven't read anything like this in a very long time, and I definitely might give it a go right after I finish a few Christmas books, because I just feel like it's definitely got those winter vibes that I'm looking for right now. The next book is by Julie Garwood, and it is Shadow Dance. It's a fairly nice cover, and I feel like this is definitely going to be a romance, and I've never read anything from her, so I'm interested to see her writing style. If you've read any of these other authors that are just not as in your face as some of the others I have mentioned, then I would definitely love to know if it's one of your favorite authors. The next one is Don't Ever Forget by Matthew Farrell. This one's high up on my list as well. It says his memories might hold the key to a dark crime, but they are fading away. So there's a lot of police investigation in this story, and I'm excited for this one. I think Damon might read this one too. His mom and dad said that he would like this, so I'm hoping that he will read this either before me or after me, and we could talk about it. I love doing that. The next one is by Janice Y.K. Lee, and it says she is the New York Times best-selling author of The Piano Teacher, and this one is I can't read that. My brain is fried. I'm gonna let y'all read it. I can't even pronounce that right now. I'm just so fried. But it says a transporting novel about motherhood, marriage, and the elusive nature of happiness. It has a good review by Good Housekeeping, so yeah. says that the writer is an exceptional talent and one of our keenest observers of women's inner lives. The next one is by Janet Daly, and I have actually heard her before, and this is called Proud and Free. It's a lovely cover. So this one actually takes place on a plantation, southern plantation, and in the Cherokee tribe, so that'll be really great. Set in the Cherokee Nation on the eve of the Trial of Tears, recreates days of shame and courage and the lives of men and women we will never forget. That'll be really nice. Damon and I both come from a Native American background, so that'll be really, really great to read. I have 3 more, so if you have hung in there so far, God bless you. We're almost finished. And this one is called Pandemic by Robin Cook. This one's like one that I would love to read too. Gene editing, biotechnology, and underbelly of an organ transplant market. And yeah, this will be interesting going into gene modification and everything like that. So if you guys have read this, let me know. Again, with any of them really. But this one came out in 2018. I do remember seeing this on the shelves. Like I said, we have 2 left, and the next one is by Jane Ann Krentz, and this one is called Light and Shadow. Another one of those old ones, I bet. Looks that way to me. 2003, so I wasn't off by too far in my thought process there. She is back with her most imaginative, fast-paced story yet, a tricky tale of secret identities, double crosses, and a perfect passion between 2 people who, in a perfect world, would have never met. And the very last one is by John Stanford, and it is called Shadow Prey. It is a Lucas Davenport novel, and I've not read any of those, so hopefully it won't be too far out of whack for me. But it says it's written with cinematic flavor. A slumlord is butchered in Minneapolis, a rising political star is executed in Manhattan, a judge slashed to death in Oklahoma City, but what each victim has in common is the weapons. A Native American ceremonial knife and a trail of blood that leads to the embodiment of evil known as Shadow Love. Enlisted to find him are Minneapolis Police Lieutenant Lucas Davenport and the New York City police officer Lily Rothenberg. But they needn't look for Shadow Love because Shadow Love is right behind them. That sounds super fast-paced, and I think that I am down for this one. So there are quite a few in here that I will enjoy, and a few are definitely going back to her unread. Let me know in the comments below if there's any down here that you think that you would read, if there's any that you have read, and are you guys going to be super ambitious in the new year if you like to read? Are you going to be adding more to your Goodreads challenge for the year? I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to push myself a little bit further. I lost a couple of months this year where I had nothing in me that I could give to that kind of focus, and so I feel like I could have done more, and the fact that I have reached my Goodreads goal and will potentially surpass that by the time you guys are actually seeing this. I'm proud of that despite the things that have gone on and how busy we were. So I feel like that I can do more next year. So thanks for joining me. I was happy to sit down with you guys and chat books as always. I know I didn't go into these a whole lot. Like you saw, a lot of them are really, really old. So I know that they're probably not on anyone's radar, but I wanted to go ahead and share them with you guys anyway. So I'm glad you were here. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.